Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that.
What is up, Titans Nation? Welcome in to the SeatGeek Studios and the 615 podcast. I'm your host, Lee Hillis. And tonight, you see, we are talking stock up, stock down, combine edition. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors over at SeatGeek. You can use our code 615 podcast. That is 615 PODCAST at checkout for $20 off your first order of $50 or more on SeatGeek.com or on the SeatGeek app. Well, ladies and gentlemen, very special guest joining us tonight. Former scout for the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders, Noah Mims. Noah, how are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing this evening?
We've got some football to talk.
Yes, sir.
New league year starts a week from tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll start hearing grumblings come Monday.
Yes, sir. It's the season of smoke screens.
And mirrors.
It's just a little bit of everything. You're
Smoke and
about to
mirrors.
hear it all.
So I was going to let you give a quick introduction to who you are
Okay.
and your background
Okay.
in football.
Sure. So yeah, I'm born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee. I went to Middle Tennessee State for my undergrad and graduate degrees. I started my master's degree in 2023 as a GA for MTSU Athletics in the operations department. And in operations, we do all the behind the scenes on game days for all athletic events. I'm talking football, basketball, baseball, you name it. I was behind the scenes, making sure everything was flowing the way it was supposed to, making sure teams were out on the field on time, making sure clocks were ready to go, and making sure everything flowed the way it's supposed to during the athletic event. And in my second year as a GA, toward the end of my GA-ship, I started interning with our football team in the scouting department, where you look at players from across the United States and do your best to get a pool of players so that you can show the director of scouting, the scouting staff, and then they can hopefully show that to the coaches. And then 5-6 months later, they hired me on for recruiting and football operations. It was less scouting, but I got to see the behind the scenes of everything, event setup, and preparations, like all those logistical things. Those things that you don't think of when you watch football, whether it's on the collegiate or professional level. That was what everything I had to do when I was in football and recruiting and football operations. It was good. Trust me, it was a lot of hours, but it was a good experience that I do not regret.
Well, this came out earlier this afternoon. Davante Adams is out in New York with the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And Noah, you and I somewhat talked about this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Do you bring him in if the price is right?
If the price is right, absolutely. I mean, to have a chance at a Hall of Fame wide receiver, even at his age, he's still one of the best receivers in the game. Now, as the Tennessee Titans organization or any organization, I would want to reach out to his agent to figure out what his mindset, because at Davante Adams at this point in his career, what does he want? Is he satisfied with not winning a championship? If that's the case, absolutely, come on in. We'll give you market value. We would love to bring you in to be a reliable receiver for our next young quarterback that we're going to bring in. Um, but I think it's more likely at this point in his career, he's made all the money, he has all the accolades. I think he wants
He's
to.
ring chasing.
He's ring chasing. I think he wants to go to a contender at this point, and while he's still in the prime of his career, and try to get a ring, because he tried to do that with the Jets, that didn't work out. He was in Green Bay for the beginning part of his years and made it to the NFC Championship game, I think two or
2 or
three
3
times,
times.
and could never get over the hump. So I think at this point, he's trying to find somewhere where he can, like you said, just ring chase. He's trying to get a ring because that's the only thing he has not accomplished on his resume.
So this came out from NBC or NFL on CBS.
Hmm.
Who's Devontae Adams suiting up for 2025? Potential landing spots.
Hmm.
If Jets decide to part ways, which they have.
Yes.
This came out at about 1:15 Eastern, 12:15 Central. There were 5 teams listed.
Hmm.
Green Bay, which
Hmm.
I do not see.
Yeah. I think that ship has sailed.
Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
a very young Washington team that
Hmm.
made it to the NFC Championship in year 1 with a rookie
Hmm.
quarterback.
Hmm.
Denver
Hmm.
and the LA Chargers. I could see there being some noise in LA if he goes to
Absolutely.
the Chargers with Justin Herbert,
Hmm. And they desperately need.
veteran wide receivers.
Absolutely. They desperately need veteran wide receiver help. I mean, you got Lad McConkey. He's good, but you need something else. Quentin Johnston, for me, is he's inconsistent. You're in love with the potential that he could potentially bring you,
You're,
but he's
there's the potential, but it's
yeah,
downside.
exactly. He's boomer bust. Like you see what he can be, but
Week
right
week
now he's
yeah, week in week out, it's that boomer bust mentality.
yep. And with the Commanders, I think before the Debo trade, I think that would have been a possibility, but I think it's going to be
Oh yeah,
harder now
Debo
because now you
Diaz
have Debo and Terry McLaurin making big money,
and and maybe Curtis Samuel,
and Curtis Samuel. Now, Jaden Daniels is on a rookie contract, which helps out a lot.
Austin
But
Eckler,
Austin Eckler. I mean, you
Brian
got a lot
Robinson.
of. I mean, they got about 86 million in cap space. But again,
Yeah,
you're trying to make that football team better. Like you need another edge rusher because you traded away Chase Young and Montez Sweat. I mean, you got Marshawn Lattimore, who he underwhelmed, but hopefully with a full offseason in with the Commanders, he
yeah,
gets back to being the Marshawn Lattimore old. So you got cap space to work with, but you probably want to uh, upgrade that offensive line to make sure your franchise quarterback is upright. So I mean, they have the money to
yeah.
do it. It's just what is the smartest way to allocate those
Go at this.
resources? Yep.
Go at this. Yeah.
Yep.
So speaking of a guy like Marshawn Lattimore,
Hmm.
the DB room, the Saints just released Honey Badger.
Ooh,
If you're Tennessee, do you go grab him?
the
Because
price is
he's
right.
already won a Super Bowl.
He has, if the price is right.
And put
For
him
him to
back there
pair
next
with,
to Hooker.
yeah, put him back then, and he brings, like you said, he's already won a Super Bowl, so he
He
brings
brings
you
that
leadership.
Snead. Snead has two.
Exactly. And that's what this team needs. When you're a
Is
young
that
team,
veteran?
exactly. You need veterans that have been there who have played at the highest level. You need those veterans to kind of share some of their wisdom with the younger guys that's on the roster,
Yeah,
so that they know what they need to do to put themselves in the best position to compete for wins, maybe eventually championships. So having as many veteran leaders as possible is essential for a young team. And look at the Commanders.
yeah.
Nobody thought the Commanders would be in the NFC Championship game,
They
but
were.
and they were. But Bobby Wagner, having Bobby Wagner on that team,
Yeah,
not just on the defensive side of the ball, but offensively, that leadership, his experience, I think it paid dividends for that team last year.
yeah. And I think I agree. If the price is right, you go get yourself a veteran safety.
Hmm.
If it's for 2 years, okay.
Right.
But you still want to draft a safety, and allow that
Absolutely.
safety to allow like a guy like Tyron Matthew to
Yes.
come in and mentor that young safety.
Absolutely.
Same thing with like say we draft Cam Ward at one.
Yep.
You want that veteran quarterback to come in here
Hmm.
and be able to lead him.
Yes.
And the names that have been thrown around are guys like Sam Darnold, which supposedly the Titans are betting favorites right now for Sam Darnold.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers is also on this list.
Hmm.
Kirk Cousins,
If he's released by Atlanta, yep.
which it sounded like he is.
Yep.
And I'm like, keep Kurt 2 Chains away from this.
Keep him
Away from
away.
that.
What you got against First Cousins? What you got?
People are saying keep Darnold away. Could he go back to Jets version where he's seeing ghosts?
It's a possibility because, when he's with the Jets, I mean, the Jets are a different breed of an organization.
Yeah.
Um, Not too many quarterbacks have succeeded in New York. Now, Carolina, again, they were in a similar situation before they got Bryce Young. They were one of the worst teams in the league. So I've seen Sam Darnold when he has structure in Minnesota, where you have a great coach, you have great weapons. You got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson. You have all
Yeah.
those guys surrounding him, and you got a coach that understands his strengths and weaknesses, and he just needs to go in there and not mess up. So I've seen him do that,
Yeah.
and he did quite well. I'm just scared of, because it was just 1 year. If he
Could he
goes to
revert
some
back?
Exactly, if he goes to somewhere like the Raiders, who, yes, you have Chip Kelly. We've seen Chip Kelly on the NFL level. It was not good. So if you
As
go
a head
there
coach?
as a head coach, so maybe as offensive coordinator, it may be different. But if you go there and it doesn't succeed, then now that contract looks even worse. So for me, if I'm the Titans, I wouldn't go after Sam Darnold, because again, I saw it for 1 year, and I'm at the point where I think they just need to draft and find their guy of the future and get the veteran, like you said, get the veteran to come in, have that quarterback learn from that guy, because as we've seen, there's nothing wrong with sitting your franchise quarterback, because the worst thing you can do is put them
Yeah.
out there before they're ready. We've
Like
seen that, Tom. Go ahead.
Jake Locker. Jake
Go-
Locker.
Jake Locker. I mean, look at recent examples. Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
Uh,
But look at
you pro-
those teams. Look at those teams that have set their quarterback.
mhm,
Jordan Love in Green Bay.
3 years,
Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City.
an entire year, and had Alex Smith as his
Yeah.
quarterback. Yep.
The list, you could go on and on.
Josh Allen sat for a half a year.
Yeah.
And then Titans fans, the greatest quarterback in the history of our franchise sat for 2 years. Steve McNair.
Yeah.
He sat for 2 years. It
It
was the
took him
third
5
overall
years.
pick.
It took
Yeah.
him 5 years
Mm-hmm.
total to become the stud we know.
Absolutely.
But we have someone that just popped up in here. Let's
Uh-oh. Big Tom.
What up, brother?
What's going on, man?
Hey,
So-
nothing, man. Hey, you know what? It's weird seeing you all in a polo, looking all nice, like slick, man. That's what I'm talking about. Okay.
Oh, I gotta look my best. Y'all are big time, so I gotta
No,
bring my best. Sunday best. I know it's not Sunday, it's Tuesday, but I gotta bring my best.
No, I feel you, man. Hey, I'll see you bright and early at 4:53 a.m. in the morning, though.
You ain't lying. Yeah,
You ain't
it'll be here
lying.
before you know it.
but
It-
we have to give Tyler the floor.
All right, y'all. First of all, I want to give a big thank you to Lee. It's kind of been a little bit of a ride for us. By the way, Lee, you're still my dog forever. There is no drama in this at all, but I do want to let Titans Nation know and the 615 pod listeners know that I'm going to be taking a step away. That does not mean you won't see my face again. That does not mean that I'll be gone forever. Still pop in every once in a while, kind of something like this. Just this whole year for me has been crazy. A lot of ups and downs. A lot of good ups though. one being, and I want to give. I don't really want to make this about me. I want to make it more about the man that is the host of this show, and that's Lee.
There you go.
Exactly. I want to give my shout out to him. For y'all that do know me, times were tough going through like some things in life and everything, and Lee kind of helped bring me out of that. One of the couple people that helped me, kind of come out of that. So
Smack upside the head.
yeah, exactly. So want to give a big shout out and a thank you. Thank you, Lee. Always love you forever. Always a brother. Like I said, guys, this is something I'm doing for me, just personally, like with family. And I've had a lot of supporters through this past year. So give a shout out to them too. But like I said, may not be forever. You'll still see my face every once in a while pop up. Um, don't want to make this like a whole like big thing or anything like that. But with that being said, Lee, I just want to give you a big thank you to let me come on this journey with you. And hey, man, you're my brother forever, dude. So
My brother from another mother.
hey, that is the truth. You're still coming up here this summer, man, or down. I should say down here this summer.
Yeah.
Hang out, grill out, do some cooking. Because y'all may not know this, but Lee can cook. So I've yet
Yeah,
to experience
Chef
that,
Lee.
so I'm looking forward to it. So enough of all of that. I kind of came in at this point because we're talking football now.
Yes, sir.
We were talking
Um,
the whole quarterback and everything in the free agency.
and me and Noah at work have had this conversation so many
So many
times. Like, is it not like literally like almost every day?
Yeah.
I'm here to tell all of Titans Nation and all of you guys, I'm done with this whole draft stuff. Draft Cam Ward. If we can get Aaron Rodgers, great.
Mhm.
Get him for a year. Let Cam sit under him,
Mhm.
and then see what happens. Um, I'm not even gonna say the word mentor. I think that word's overused a lot.
I use the word teach.
Yeah, honestly, or like, and Noah, like just watch.
Yep.
I mean, just watch.
Yep.
Watch
And
how to be a pro.
exactly, watch how to be a pro.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if it will be Aaron Rodgers, but somebody, I don't think, like he just said. I mean, Noah, how many times at work? I mean, you literally talked about Jackson, Allen,
Mahomes, Love.
Well,
Love from Green Bay. I mean, I could keep going, man.
I mean, even Drake May this past year sat for half the year.
Exactly. I don't even care. And at
and
this point,
and Drake May was playing backyard football against us.
He
I
was.
still don't. I don't even know how Stevenson caught that pass. I'll never forget that game.
Yep.
I was talking to my girl on the phone during when that happened, and I was like, "What? Like, I don't even know how it happened."
What just happened?
Yeah, I just dropped my daughter off and was like, "What's going on?" So
What's going? Yep.
yeah, but anyway, I definitely. What you got next, Lee? I'm gonna hang out for a bit with you guys.
That's what's up.
So we had talked about the Devontae Adams release from New York.
Yeah,
But stock up, stock down. Here's where I went on who really helped their stock. Nick Manawari, safety from South Carolina.
yeah,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Dude is a
Yeah.
freak. Dude's a freak athlete.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
A guy that I was high on, I thought it would be there in the second round. I think he's slid back into the mid to late part of the first round. Wide receiver Matthew Golden out of Texas.
Yep. Tyler, we were talking about this at work.
Yeah, I was
going
I
into
was
the
about to say,
combine.
Noah. Hey, we got to talk about this, Lee. So literally, me and Noah were basically praying to the Lord up above that he would
Yes,
not
yep.
come in and do exactly what he did.
Exactly. Yes. And I was telling
Exactly what
Tyler,
he
I
did.
was like, if he runs, because his situation reminds me of Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson coming out of LSU,
Yeah.
as productive as he was that final year, there was questions about his speed. And going into that combine, scouts were saying, okay, how fast is he really? If he can run in the low 4.5s, uh, higher 4.9, 4.4s, then he'll go in the first round. Dude went out there and ran a 4.43, solidified himself as a top 20. I think he went 24th overall to Minnesota. And I was telling Tyler, I'm like, Matthew Golden, in my opinion, is in that same boat because there's no question about his ability as a route runner, his ability to adjust to underthrown footballs, his ball production. Like, there's no question about that. The only question I had about Matthew Golden was how fast is he really? Because he wasn't necessarily pulling away from defenders, even though he was separating from the line of scrimmage during his routes. And I was telling Tyler, I'm like, if he can run a 4.4, he's not going in the second round. He's going in the first round. And by God, he went and ran a 4.29. And I was like, well, scratch that off the list for the Titans because he ain't going to be there in the second round. He's not going to be there.
It's so funny. Literally, we walked in. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. Me and Noah look at each other, and we both just without even saying a word, just like he gone,
He gone.
like he gone,
You know,
he
He's
oh,
gone.
gone.
There's
He's
no way,
gone.
dude.
Yeah. Yeah. He is too good. Like I said, I was a fan of his. And I was hoping he'd be there in the second round, especially with our high second round pick, but he's not going to be there. I think he's going
yeah,
in top 15, top 20. He'll be
yeah.
in that group of receivers with Luther Burden, Emeka Mbuka, Arizona receiver,
McMillan,
McMillan. Yep.
T Mac.
Yep.
Noah,
Yep.
you know what I heard today, and I was just telling Lee this right before y'all started this pod, actually, when I was talking
Mm,
to him. There is literally like people saying that Golden could potentially be up there with T-Mac from Arizona. What's your take on that? And like, I personally like, I don't. There's a size thing there, obviously.
it is.
And me and
So,
you talked about big body receivers a lot today at work. You know, we
yep.
talked about that. But what's your take on like people saying that Golden could potentially pass even him up?
I see what they're saying because if you look at what he measured in at the combine, 5'11", 191. If he was 6 foot, 200 pounds, he'd be the number one receiver. I
Yeah,
just I think he'd be the number one receiver off the board. I think just again, like I said, his ability to run routes and catch the football with his hands and adjust to underthrown footballs. I just think his versatility. I just think he'd be right up there with McMillan. And yeah, I agree with that assessment. Now I do think McMillan still ultimately goes higher. He goes before Golden because at 6'5",
yeah,
like just just the potential in that. Now, of course, he'll have his pro day. We'll see exactly how fast he is. And he's not a bad route runner. He catches the football in his hands. So if he goes to his pro day and runs a good 40 time, displays good route running ability, and he tests well, like again, the potential is off the charts for him. But with Matthew Golden, I do see what they're saying because like you said, it's a size thing. If he was 6 foot, 200 pounds, he'd be right up there with Jamar Chase. Because Jamar Chase, when he came out, he measured in at 6 foot, 201, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah.
So, but I do see what experts are saying about that.
Yeah, and you know it's like kind of how we've talked before too on this. The Titans need a home run guy.
Yes, sir.
Like we need a home run
Desperately.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your take on that, Lee?
I think based on the work on at the combine, I think Golden is at least the number two, at least the
Hmm.
number two guy. In my opinion, he's better than Burden.
I would, yes, I will go there. I don't think Burden is too far off from Golden, but I like Golden uh, more than I
A
do
lot
Burden.
more. A
I
lot
still
more.
think Burden's a stud. I still think he's a stud. I just like Golden a little bit more.
Yeah. Number three, I went in the running back out of Virginia Tech, just based on his 40.
Did you go strictly based on just combine there, Lee?
his tape was okay, but what he did at the combine, I feel like took his tape to another level.
Yeah.
Like his speed, he had the fastest 40 of any running back
Mhm.
Yeah.
at 4.32.
Yeah.
That
That's
that's
crazy
that's
speed.
like that's like I was gonna say CJ, but CJ was way faster than that.
Yeah, oh yeah. 4.24.
Yeah. Yeah.
CJ
Yeah.
2K.
This is what happens when you have a scout. Come on. They know that. They know that shit, Lee.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's the numbers. It's all about the numbers.
Yeah.
But let me go pull up our next guys stuff from the combine.
Oh, are you getting into Shamar already with your Texas A&M stuff, like ready to go? If you didn't know, he's
The
a
dude,
huge Texas A&M guy.
Oh
he
really?
saw the shirt.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, I was about to
forgot
say
about
there's
that.
a
Yeah,
re
the shirt. Yep, yep.
yeah.
The they on NFL.com they have him listed based on his grade, the fourth best defensive lineman in this class, or the fourth best edge in this class,
Hmm.
behind Mike Green out of Marshall,
Stud.
Mykal Williams out of Georgia, and then Abdul Carter. They have him graded at 6.41. Now, that don't really tell you anything until you see what 6.41 will become a good starter within 2 years.
Yeah, yeah. He
40,
tested off the charts. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lee.
4 point, his 40, 4.59. His 10-yard split was 1.58. 40-inch vert and a broad jump of 10 foot 11.
He tested off the charts. He was pretty good to watch.
You have to go back and his NFL comparison is Roy Robertson Harris. Don't know who that is.
Not me. I'm drawing a blank.
You just stumped me, all of us on that. I'm not
Um,
sure
the
who. Yeah.
overview. This is from Lance Zierlein, analyst from the NFL Network. Stewart is carved from granite, possessing a rare blend of traits, explosiveness, and untapped upside.
Hmm.
He's long and sudden off the snap, but hasn't learned to weaponize his hands to control the point of attack. I could have told you that
Yeah. Yeah.
because I've watched in the last 3 years.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hey,
I'll go ahead, Tyler.
Lee, can we get to number 6? There's a reason I'm saying this is because we're with somebody that has seen this man live on the sidelines.
And I would say Jackson Dart is another guy who I feel like really helped his stock
Hmm.
with Quinn Ewers, Jalen Milroe, all those guys blowing.
Hmm.
So let's give Noah the floor on this right here because me and him have
That's what I was
talked.
saying. Let's give
Now when
him.
he talks about the game, I will tell you he will not be talking about Jackson Dart as much as the running back of what he did to MTSU. But
Oh my, yeah.
go ahead, Noah.
Yeah, when we traveled to Mississippi to play Ole Miss, side note, when I say that those guys, whatever they're listed at, it's accurate. Those dudes, I mean, left tackle 6'9", left guard 6'6", center 6'7". Like it's insane. Like whatever those guys are listed at, that it's true. But getting to Jackson Dart, just seeing him up close, I think he does. I think he's the classic example of someone that doesn't necessarily do one thing great, but does everything else well. He has the size that you want. He has a good enough arm. He's good. He's mobile enough in the pocket. Um, He's very accurate. He's very accurate. I would just say consistency with those things. I know he had weapons. His weapons were in and out the lineup, but I do like Jackson Dart as a prospect. The running back, oh my God, yeah, he tore us apart. Now, of course, when you're a group of five team playing a power five team in their house, you kind of know what to expect. So it wasn't necessarily a surprise um, that they put up the numbers that they did. But the running back, yeah, he tore us up. He tore us apart. But again, you still want to play in those games because it's a measuring stick. You want to see how you measure up against those power five guys, and you see why they are in the power five, power four now. You see why they're in the power
Yeah.
four. But yeah, I do like Jackson Dart as a prospect. I think he's one. I think a perfect spot for him, in my opinion, would be the LA Rams, because again, he's someone that again I think he needs to sit, but because of the potential, I mean, he's around the same like size as Matthew Stafford, in my opinion.
Six
Um,
two.
Yeah. So having a guy like that you can get in the second or third round, knowing that the Rams they need that next guy after Stafford, because Stafford he doesn't have much longer to play. So having a guy like that to sit and learn, and from everything I'm hearing from the combine, he did really well in interviews. So having a guy like that to sit and learn behind Matthew Stafford for however long, I think would be beneficial to the LA Rams, especially when you're a team that's trying to win again. So you're most likely in the next 2 years, you're not going to be picking in the top 10. You're not going to be picking in the top 15. So you're going to be picking somewhere inside the top 20. And there's no telling how much draft capital you're going to have to give up just to move up into the top five to get your guy. And if you're a guy picking outside the top 15, top 20, and you're trying to get into the top 10, the team that's picking inside the top 10, they may want you to include one of your best players. I mean, you saw with Carolina. Now, Carolina wasn't sitting outside the top 10, but they were sitting seventh. In order for them to move up to get Bryce Young, number one overall, they had to give up their best player, DJ Moore. So I think for the Rams, I think they would be a really good destination for Jackson Dart for all the physical tools and traits that he has. I think he'd be a great fit for the Rams. But I do like Jackson Dart.
So you mentioned Matthew Stafford. Stafford is 6'3", 214.
Mm,
Dart is 6'2", 223.
there you go.
So we're Jackson Dart. They have his NFL comp as Gardner Minshew.
And I was telling Lee, I that's interesting to me. I have to do some more
That's
deep diving into
yeah.
that.
Um, his strengths and weaknesses. I'm just going to run through a few of these. Strengths: gets across the full field of progression when he needs to. Recognizes potential trouble and gets away from it. Very accurate with his back shoulder fades. Uses altered snap counts to draw defenses into committing pre-snap penalties. That's what Jackson Dart does very well. But his weaknesses: drop zone coverages slow to his momentum and consistency. Lazy footwork forces him into muscled throws at times. Throws feel very labored when he's forced to work off platform. So, and I agree with Noah on this. I thought the LA Rams are a very good position for him in the second or third. And I feel like that's a perfect place for him is the second or third round.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler, I know you're fixing to say something.
Yeah, just real quick, y'all. I want to give one more farewell real quick. I'm gonna let y'all do y'all's thing. I love you, Lee. I love this pod. Like I said, I will pop up from time to time. I love you guys. I've always wanted to say this, and this makes it even cooler. And I know Noah and you will get it. In the words of Kobe Bryant, but I'm not gonna say Mamba because I've always wanted to do this. I'm gonna do it. TK out. Love you guys.
Sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Tyler. Yes, sir.
So stock down.
Okay.
Players that I feel like really hurt their stock.
Mm-hmm.
The first player on this is Will Howard.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go back and look at the overall 40 when it comes to quarterbacks or just drills in general when it comes to quarterbacks,
Mm-hmm.
you only had 3 quarterbacks run the 40.
Yep.
Brady Cook,
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Shuck out of Louisville, and Seth Hennigan
From
out of
Memphis.
Memphis.
Yep.
You had 4 quarterbacks do vertical. Will Howard was one of them. His vertical was 31.5 inches.
Mm-hmm.
His broad jump was 9'4".
Mm.
His 3-cone was 7.13. And his 20-yard shuttle was 4.33.
Mm.
But with his throwing stuff, and I
Yep.
went back and looked at it, it wasn't great.
Mm-mm.
Banks, Kelvin Banks, if you go look at offensive linemen, Kelvin Banks, his 20 was 4.66. His 20-yard
Mm.
shuttle.
Shuttle. Yep.
3-cone. Lord, was he further? He did not do the 3-cone.
Yeah. Typically, sometimes those guys, when they don't get, especially you see it a lot of times with the guys in the 40, if they don't get a 40 time that they like, then they don't do the rest of the drills because they want time to train because they know, like, for receiver, if they run a bad 40 time, they don't want to do the rest of the drills because they want time to train and do it correctly for their pro day. So
So
I'm not surprised at all.
Kelvin Banks, his vertical was 32 inches.
Mm.
His 40, just so you know, Jared Wilson, the center out of Georgia, had the
Mm-hmm.
fastest 40 of any offensive lineman at 4.84. But where is he at? Kelvin Banks, 5.16.
Wow.
Quinn Ewers did nothing but throw, and his throwing was horrendous.
Yeah. Hey, I put him. Hey, Jalen Milroe. I put him up there with Jalen Milroe too. I don't.
Yeah.
It was a couple times. Yeah. Oof. Yeah. It was rough.
I'm gonna skip number 4. I'll come back to number 4 here in a minute. Gunnar Helm. The thing that I feel like really hurt his stock was him getting injured
Yeah.
while running the 40.
Yeah. That was one of the guys Tyler and I were talking about. As someone that Tyler really liked, as someone the Titans could potentially get in the later rounds. But yeah, he did not
Which
have the
I
best
would be
day.
okay with getting him right there in that 5th or 6th range now
Mm-hmm.
due
Yeah.
to this injury.
Mm-hmm.
Nazir Stackhouse out of Georgia. Because I have NFL.com pulled up.
Mm-hmm.
Nazir Stackhouse. Where did he land? He was in a back 5 on the 40 at 5.15.
Yeah, that is not good for a DN. That's not good.
Where did he land at on vertical? If he did the vertical, which I do not think he did.
Probably didn't. Yeah.
But there is a Tennessee boy on this list, Elijah
yeah.
Simmons, out of Pearl Cone High School.
Yes, sir. Who did very well.
32-inch vertical. Broad, you probably won't get anything on him on the broad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you did. 8'9" for Nazir Stackhouse.
Okay.
20-yard shuttle. You had very few participate in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did very well for
So,
himself at the combine. Think he made him some money as well.
Simmons, Elijah Simmons, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The defensive tackle out of the University of Tennessee, by the way. But Tez Johnson,
Oh
the
yeah,
reason I went Tez Johnson right here,
I had him down too, just for the record.
Tez Johnson, I don't think he ran the 40. Oh, yes, he did. 4.51. 4.51.
Yeah, that's not good.
The slowest
Especially.
receiver time. The
Mm-hmm.
slowest receiver time. Josh Kelly out of Texas Tech, 4.7 flat.
Wow. Just for yeah, that's. But how
Um,
tall is Josh Kelly?
Josh Kelly is
Because that'll go into my next point about Tez Johnson.
what? Come on. Tez Johnson is 5'11, 5'10,
Okay.
5'11.
But still, yeah, that's still not
Josh Kelly, 6'1, 186.
6'1". I mean, for a 6'1" receiver, I still want him to definitely be faster than a
4'7.
4.74. But I mean, getting back to Tez Johnson, when you are a undersized receiver, you're already going to have durability concerns from NFL teams. But the one
But
thing,
the thing, his weight's
yeah,
the one reason it landed on here.
yeah,
Because Tez Johnson out of Oregon is 5'10, 154.
154. And when you
If
and when
he
you
gets hit
have
by a corner, if he
oh,
gets hit by a corner, he'll get folded like a
you're
lawn chair.
you're praying that he gets up because that is
He
extremely
and
undersized.
you see the picture right there of Tez Johnson there right in the middle. He looks
Hmm.
like a high school wide receiver.
Yeah, he does. And when
And I'm
you're
like,
5'10", when you're undersized like that, you got to make up for that with speed. Well, the
but
concern is because he's undersized, you're going to go up against physical corners that's going to bump him off
so
the routes because you're 154. Well, the one thing that can combat that is your speed. Now, he is very quick. Don't get me wrong, he is very quick.
he's shifty.
He's
He's shifty.
shifty. But when you're not able to separate yourself from that corner, like going deep, like that can be real problems for you. And that's going to be his
And
concerns, which
that's
is why
how
I think he's
NFL
going to drop.
corners are. And that's how NFL corners are.
Hmm.
Uh, NFL Next Gen Stats score breakdown on Tez Johnson. Production score 74. That ranked 11th out of NFL wide receivers in 2025.
Mm.
Or combine wide receivers in 2025. The athleticism score on him was 64.
Hmm.
That ranked 44th
Wow.
on combine wide receivers. His total score was 74, which ranked 20th
Mm.
on combine wide receivers. Um, his prospect grade is 6.23. Will eventually be average starter.
Mm.
So what I'm thinking is if the Titans can grab him late
Hmm.
in that early day three,
Hmm.
that fourth or fifth round,
Hmm. Which we
I'd be
got
okay
two
with that.
picks. We got two picks in the fourth and fifth round. So.
I'd be okay with that. Use him as a return guy.
Hmm.
Put him back there. I feel like for him to be a good, solid build wide receiver in the NFL,
Hmm.
he needs to put on a good another 30, 40, even, maybe even 50.
I agree. He needs to put on some weight for sure. Now I will say, um, for me, it would be harder to draft him knowing that we got Jaquan Jackson from Tulane on the
Yeah.
roster now because that's what we drafted
Well,
him to do.
the thing that I want us to think about going into next week,
Hmm.
Traylon Burks could be gone.
Yeah, I think it's time. Yeah,
Boyd won't be back.
won't be back.
So you could take and slide Jaquan Jackson into that slot.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like a guy like Mason Kinsey, slide him into the slot.
Mm-hmm.
Draft a guy like an Isaiah Bond, possibly, and line him up at wide receiver 2.
Yeah.
Opposite of Calvin Ridley. Or if
Mm-hmm.
you bring in a guy like a Devontae Adams,
Yeah.
line him up at wide receiver 2.
He bring you some more size in that room, which I think we need. I mean, Calvin's listed at 6 foot. I think he's more 5'11", but
Yeah.
having a guy with size that's over 6 foot, whether it's through free agency or through the draft, I think it's much needed, especially like you said, since Traylon Burks is going to be gone. And even though, we haven't gotten much production from him, we still need a bigger body wide receiver to
Yeah.
go along with the guys we're going to have playing the slot.
Isaiah Bond,
4.39, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he said he was going to break his former teammate's record. Matthew Golden came
Isaiah
closer to
Bond.
doing that than he did.
Hey, but he did.
He did, right?
Yeah. Golden came closer doing that.
But I can appreciate his confidence. I can, and 4.39 is still fast. It's faster than what I can do, that's for sure. So,
yeah. 5'11", 180. I think if he puts on another 20 pounds,
mm-hmm.
get that even 200, but use that as mostly like muscle.
Right.
Who's stopping that?
I can't find a corner that wants to deal with that. I just can't. Because, I mean, you got a guy,
he was
like you said, if he adds those 20 pounds, corners don't want to play against, they don't want to go against, physical receivers like that.
That are 200 pounds.
That can fly by you in a second.
His NFL comparison is one that I love. And it's Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Waddle. I love that comparison. I mean, the body types are similar. They were asked to do similar things in college. So
yeah.
I love that comp. That's a good comp.
Well, he went to school with Waddle at Alabama.
He did transfer from Alabama. Yep.
His strength. He was a high school state sprint champion with top end elite speed.
Mm-hmm. I think he was clocked at 24 miles an hour during the past year, which is
I think so.
fast.
But the weakness made just 99 catches over his 3 college seasons.
So production's low.
Only had 1 game with more than 100 yards.
Yeah.
In his career.
Mm-hmm.
Had trouble eluding physical press from Georgia. Could benefit from speed variances inside his route, and can be overwhelmed by size when contested.
Yeah, I see all those things. Yeah.
And
I mean, Georgia, they're putting out their corners that are 6'1", 6'2", that are long.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see that.
So he ranked on his next gen stats score. He ranked 14th in combine wide receivers with a score of 75. His prospect grade was 6.33.
That's about right.
Will eventually be plus starter.
That's about right.
And I think if you plug him in right there too, opposite of Ridley, or even in the slot.
Yep. He'd be deadly in the slot.
Put him in the slot. Put Adams outside opposite of Ridley.
Mm-hmm.
That's lethal.
It is. It is for any quarterback that's back there. You got speed, then you got the route running ability of both Devontae and Calvin Ridley. Like, who's stopping that? Like, that would be insane.
Did you have Bond in the slot?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a young quarterback's best friend right there.
Absolutely.
And
And
that's why I'm thinking go get Ward.
whoever the nickel
Yeah.
corner is covering Isaiah Bond, good
You-
luck.
You might just want to go sit on the bench.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, you know what? I'm good,
Um,
coach. I'm sit on the bench.
I'm good. I'm done. I'm done for the day. I'm done for the day. Bye. But man, Noah, man, it's been awesome
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's been great.
having you on here. And of course, thanks to Tyler for this hookup right here.
Absolutely. Yeah, Tyler. Yeah,
But
I appreciate Tyler so much. He's a good dude. Yes, sir. And
but
y'all, and like I said, I've seen a couple episodes. Y'all are doing great work. I really appreciate y'all having me on.
well, Titans fans, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Stay classy and tighten up.
Tighten up. Let's get tightened up. Tightened up.